Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if I get some people joining. Just looking to hang out. Gotta mute this one. There we go. Hey, my son.
Hey, Ma.
I'm live, but the camera won't see you, so you're all good. It's only focused right here.
I know.
I know you know, but I always remind you and Dad because I know Dad doesn't like to come out of the room when I'm live or recording because he doesn't know if he's going to get caught on camera. It's like, nope. I just do a hangout and crap. I gotta wait and see if a couple of people are going to join or not because they said they probably would today. So at the moment, sitting here talking to you and myself. You think you could take out a thing of ground meat out of the freezer and get a plate or a lid or something from the cupboard to put it on, please? I think it's on the bottom half of the fridge or freezer, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. Always got time to thaw out before I make dinner.
Now I'm gonna come in and put the food back.
Just on the table will be fine, honey, but on a plate or a lid, whatever's available in the cupboard will be good. That way it doesn't bleed all over the place. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate the help. Hey, Norma, welcome in, hun. The link's there if you want to come on up and hang out with me. You know how to work it. You heading to bed, kiddo?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wake you when dinner's ready. Love you, sweetie.
Love you, Ma.
So how's Miss Norma doing today? Hopefully all's going well for you. I thought I'd just do a little bit of hanging out, chit chat, maybe do some crafting. You know, all that fun stuff. But nah, I didn't feel like doing bingo today. Just waiting to see if a few others may join. Everything's going good. The dragon panel that I showed on my Wednesday's video is first panel is done already, and I was only halfway as of Wednesday. So I am going to talk about that in a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next regarding turning it into a bag. So the kids been doing, I bet they're driving you up the wall. They go back to school, what, Monday, I think it is, from their winter break or March break, whatever they call it there, spring break. Okay, hon, yeah, I've done it in the past on YouTube, and I've had no problems with it. I find in the YouTube, because when you're watching the chat on StreamYard or Restream, it's a different pace than it is on YouTube. And I find if I do it all on YouTube, then when a bingo comes in, I catch it like, if someone mentions it, I catch it right away. Like maybe one ball delay, and that's it. So. Yeah, I could imagine, especially at their age. But yeah, I don't mind doing bingo on YouTube. Like I did on StreamYard this week, but I've done it on YouTube in the past when I was having issues with the sound for some reason not working for me, and even with trying different callers. So I thought, okay, let's go to YouTube and do it that way. And I I find it works better for me. So I don't know if it would be better for you. And I know also because you guys are running off of multiple devices, where I'm only running off of one now. Yes, it's wireless, but you guys, you figure you're either running off your phone, your tablet, your computer, that takes longer for all the vibes from your internet box to reach all those devices. And if your phone, if you're using your actual data, it runs at a different speed than your Wi-Fi will. So that could be another reason why you guys are having more issues. That's why I like running off of one device. Yeah, it takes a moment to click from one window to another because I got, two windows open at the top of my screen. But now that I have a wired mouse and that's on life support, instead of on a pacemaker, aka the batteries, the half time it didn't want to work, that I find being hardwired right into my laptop, my mouse even works better than using the wireless one. Because I love the idea, but I thought, nah, it's got to go. I'm putting this sucker on life support for eternity. And it was just a cheap mouse from, I know the wireless one was from Dollarama, and I think this mouse with the wire, I got it from Walmart. So, yeah, definitely try it on YouTube. It doesn't hurt to try it. If you like it, hey, if you don't, then... And I know with YouTube, there's no restriction on the amount of hours you use. Because you figure this week alone on StreamYard, I've done 4 hours worth of bingo. Now, my restart date is today or tomorrow? 25th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, today, 28th. So like I've got my hours all back as of today. But had I not, like you figure I used 2 hours for my 2 different bingos. I went live for not very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes with Joe, trying to do a little crafting, but she's the only one that came in. And then I'm thinking about going for about an hour today. So, oh, wow. Yeah, well, we decided, because with the laptop, I don't like my keypad on mine. Like, the old laptop I used to use was great because there was actual space bar button, where this one, my keypad, aka my mouse pad on my laptop, there's also a set of numbers, so it's like a key turned into a calculator as well. So if you press it, it doesn't. There's no enter button on the keypad, and it sucks. So I thought, no, I've got to go with a mouse. And then hubby thought, the wireless would be good. That way, if I'm sitting here on the couch, I can have my mouse right here beside me instead of, on the tray in front of me, and it's easier to use it and stuff. Yeah, like I said, it was nice having the wireless, but at the same time, nah, I can deal with the cords. Yeah, I like the wire better, the laser wire. Oh gosh, you remember the wired ones that had the little squirrely ball underneath it? You had to unscrew the little piece to take the ball out to clean it every so often. Oh my goodness, I have one of those still in my house somewhere. I think it's in maybe a bag in my son's closet. But I do believe I have one of those mouses still in my house. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know if it would even be worth bringing that out to even try to use it. Because, like, those are so old. I like the laser, but I don't think I could go back to one with a little ball in the bottom. Oh, wow. So, this is only you. I guess I'll tell you the little thing I mentioned the other day in bingo. I believe you were there, and I mentioned something about my recipes. I think this is near the end of my session the other day, like the last one I had. And I know I probably left everybody kind of hanging as to what do you mean by your recipes. Well, for years, I cook the same meal day in, day out, it seems like some days. I don't want to cook. So originally I had a cookbook my mom bought me for Christmas. It was for baking goodies and cookies and, brownies and different treats like that. And then I had an actual recipe book for food, for actually, meals and stuff. So what I started doing, oh goodness, back in, I gotta do some math here. My father-in-law passed away in 2010. My husband's aunt passed away in 2011. I started babysitting my niece and nephew at the end of 2011. Then we moved here 2012. Then in September 2012, I had to start babysitting at my sister-in-law's because my niece started going to school. So I think it was either late 2012, early 2013. I decided I wanted to switch things up when it comes to cooking because you said you cook the same thing day in, day out. You don't want to cook after a while, and I'm the only one that cooks. And my son, who you would have heard in the background there a little bit ago, he's a very picky eater. So to get him to try new food is very challenging. And there's a lot of things like, I've never tried before. And I thought, well, I'd love to, but I don't know what to do with it. So we'll give you an example here. I'll pull out, actually, I will pull out this one. So what I used to do back in 2013 was I used to get a check each month called child tax credit. It's like came in on the 20th, anywhere from the 18th to the 20th of the month, depending on if the 20th fell on the weekend or not. And what I would do is that Sunday after my check would come in, so it would rather come in on the Friday or the Saturday, if it fell on the weekend or then it would come in Friday. My 20th was on the Monday. It'd come in on Saturday. So Sunday's date, I would take said cookbook. I'm using this one because this is the one I'm currently working out of. I would count from the front. Say, for example, the Sunday was the 23rd. I'd count in 23 recipes. Then out of my child tax credit, I would get said food and make the meal, which I've made some pretty interesting things. And then what I would do is make sure, like, as long as 2 out of the 3 of us liked it, because there was myself, my son, and my husband, I'd put a recipe or a check mark beside the recipe. If one of us for some reason didn't like it, especially my son who's picky, I would, put in brackets, no Darren, just so I know he won't eat it. If for some reason we didn't like it at all, it would get a big X through the whole recipe. I'll explain that in a moment. And then if there was an ingredient in it that we weren't very fond of, I'd scratch that ingredient out so I'd never buy it again, kind of thing. We are not a fan of cilantro, like fresh cilantro. I've tried it 3 different recipes now. Do not like it. Do not like capers. I had it in a recipe, didn't like them. And do not like red wine vinegar. I've used it. I tried it twice because it was just a small bottle I bought originally. Wasn't really a fan on it either. So, like, for example, this past recipe I just did this past Sunday, it was a pasta meal. It was delicious, but a couple things. One, it called for like 3 skinless, boneless chicken breasts. 2 would have been plenty for the 3 of us. It called for 5 cups of uncooked pasta. I could easily just do 3. And then the sauce that it was supposed to make when you're doing it up was supposed to go over top of the pasta. It wasn't that great. So I decided to scratch that off the actual ingredients. And I put down underneath it Alfredo sauce instead. So add a can or jar of Alfredo sauce. So then what I'll do is, like, for example, whatever, and I only do this once a month, like the recipe kind of thing. Then what I would do is I would figure out what the next child tax credit date would be if I was still doing it that way, which I've switched it up, and I'll explain that in a minute too, is whatever baby bonus or ton child tax credit comes in, I'd go by, again, that Sunday afterwards and whatever number it was. So say the number was 24 after child tax came in. From the last recipe I did, I'd count 24 recipes ahead, and that'd be my next month's recipe. Now, had I come across a recipe with an X through it, and I got to count 24 recipes and say recipe 16 has an X, I just count recipe 15, and then I don't even count the one with the X, go to the very next one and count that as 16. I pretend the one with the X does not exist at all. Now, if I get to, say, the end of my book, and I've got 4 more recipes to do, like to get to the number I need to be at, but I don't have enough in my book, I pull the next 2 books I have in my recipe book shelf, which I do have a lot of them now, and I will figure out, I'll count in 4 recipes in the next 2 books, and then I will show them to my husband by himself and say, pick one. He'll look at both recipes and then read the ingredients, like, oh, this one sounds good. And I say, okay. Then at a different time when my husband's not home, I will then take the books to my son, again, show him both recipes and say, pick one. And he usually doesn't care. He'll just say, oh, that book or that book. He doesn't even really look at them. Sometimes he will. Now, if they pick the same recipe, that book becomes the next book I work out of. If they each pick a different recipe, I get to pick then which book we do next. And I cheat because I have my calendars already pre-marked for the year as to what dates I will be doing these recipes on. And I kind of figure ahead at least 3 or 4 recipes to see which one I want to do. Now, I have switched it up because I don't get child tax anymore because my son's 24. So now what I was originally doing, because we have a bit of financing stuff each month, like besides your regular rent, insurance, gas, stuff on the vehicle, phone, internet, cable, groceries, a little spending money for whatever. We also did financing for our truck, which thank God next February it will be 100% ours. And then we still have, I think it's 3 years on our new camper. Now, had we had the other camper, it would be done as of September, but we used it as a trade-in. Hello, welcome in. I'm just sitting here chatting away, kind of about stuff I do out of my recipe book. So you're going to be lost, but hopefully you'll be able to catch what I'm going at. Anyway, so hubby, for a while there, when he would figure out the bills for the month, the 2 finance bills were always at the end of the month. So I would go by, figure out all his pay weeks in my calendar on the Fridays, and then the first pay of each month, I would pick the Sunday after that and do that recipe. And then again, the next month, same idea. While the book that I'm currently working out of, which I think has about 200 recipes in it, is taking me forever to get through it. I mean, forever, because some days I was only going 3 or 4 recipes in from the last one. It's like, oh my goodness, this is going to take me forever. So I asked my husband, I said, hey, can we switch the recipes to your second pay of the month? Because there's some months he'll get paid 3 times, and most months he'll get paid twice. He's like, yeah, that's no problem, because he finally realized, okay, if I put half of this away this month, or this pay, for those 2 finance items, then the end of the month when those payments are due to come out, I have all the money saved up. So it's been good to do, he's been fine with it, and I'm going through the book a lot quicker. And then, of course, when I was describing this to my mom years ago, she's like, well, that's kind of a waste of money and food if you guys don't like it, and blah, 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 blah. Well, okay. So I only use corn oil just because it's the cheapest. So if it calls for any other kind of oil, I don't buy it. I have corn oil always in the house. I always have onions in the house. I always have garlic in the house. Those 3 items are always in my house. I have cumin in the house and other herbs and dry herbs from doing past recipes. So those I don't have to buy every single time I do a new recipe. And on average, now you figure we're feeding 3 adults. For extra stuff I've got to buy that I don't already have in the house, I think the most I ever spent 1 month on the special menu kind of thing was $32 and change. Now remember, that's Canadian. So you're looking at probably about $24, $25. So like you figure that's not a bad price for 3 adults to eat a full meal. And like I enjoy doing it. Now there is gonna be times, probably in the winter months, where it's way too cold to be at the camper to do this. I'm gonna like say for January or February's, or even possibly even December's. I may land on a recipe that will be required to be barbecued. And there's no way I'm doing that in the winter months. Yeah, we go to the camper in the winter months, but we cook inside, not outside. So I would definitely have to, if, say, for example, this was January, and, it's a little earlier in the beginning of the month, and my husband's second pay of the month is going to be a barbecue recipe. But if I would go by the first pay of the month, it's something I can cook indoors, I would just switch it. So yeah, that's what I was referring to when I said my special recipes in my book. And it's really fun. I enjoy doing it. One recipe I made, like this was about 3 years ago now, it was a chili in the slow cooker, and it had butternut squash in it. I have never had butternut squash, nor has my son or my husband. And oh my goodness, cooking in the slow cooker for like 4 hours, the squash took in such amazing flavors from the chili, like the cumin and all that. And the squash, you put it in your mouth and it just melted. It was like, oh, I wish I had made double that recipe. And then I 3 or 4 times now have used the fruits or vegetables, zucchini. That's it. I think it's like a cucumber. I've used zucchini now like 3 or 4 times. Love it. Like I've had them in salads. I've had them in actual cooked meals. Like I said, not a fan of capers. Not a fan of the cilantro. And like I figure most times when it calls for fresh herbs of some kind, it's more or less for garnish. So you don't really need it. We've tried a few different cheeses. And the one, oh my goodness, I can't remember. It's Havarti, I think is how it's pronounced. And it was just a small pack I bought. And it was a dill flavored. Oh my goodness. I don't know, 3 or 4 times after that, every time we went grocery shopping, my husband kept buying more. And we tried different flavors of it. And it's like everyone we've tried, we've loved. And it's A, to get us to try new food. B, to get me out of my rut of cooking the same thing day in and day out. Because like I said, I get in those ruts and I don't want to cook. And like sometimes I'm going to land on, like, for example, something that you'd use as a side. No big deal. Sometimes I may land on something that's going to be a dessert. Okay, I'll just make whatever for dinner and then we'll have a dessert that night. Especially if I'm working out of the one cookbook my mom got me, which is all desserts. Sometimes I may land on a recipe that's a drink or like a dip or something. I'll make it work. But yeah, for like $30 for 3 of us to eat, like especially if it's a full meal, like a stew or chili or pasta or something like that. Wow. But yeah, that was me and my rant about cooking, and I know I mentioned it in bingo the other day. So, my crochet project I've been working on. I showed it Wednesday in my whip video. And when I showed it, I was at this stitch marker here. So, it's a dragon silhouette. I'm going to be turning it into a bag. And here it is, and I'm done. I did half of it. Because if I fold it in half, this stitch marker is literally the halfway point. And I did the second half, which has way more detail, in 2 days. So here it is. Hopefully you can see it good. And it's going to be turned into a bag. So that's the front. Yeah, I'm going to move my tray back a little bit here. might get a better view of it. Sorry if I make you dizzy by moving you. Here, we'll try that again. So this is going to be the front panel. And then this is what it looks like on the back. Now I haven't cut the yarn off yet. Because I have a dilemma on how I want to do the straps. And originally I was going to do the back panel just the same size, but all in single crochet in the peach. Yeah, that's not happening. It's going to be the mint green, which is no big deal. And then when I stitch it along the sides and the bottom, put it together, it's going to be in the mint green. But I was thinking for the handle part and the straps or whatever, because I didn't really want to sew anything on, was, like I said, I haven't cut off the peach yet, is join the green, go in so many stitches. I haven't figured out yet how many. I got to kind of lay it out and kind of look at it and figure out what I think would be a good number. And then so say 10 stitches for sake of argument kind of thing. But go in 10 stitches and then do a chainless foundation single crochet row of whatever number I decide is a good amount to give it the good length. And then skip all those stitches till I get to the last 10 and then single crochet in those. And then go back and maybe do like 2 more passes of just single crocheting in all the stitches and do it in the mint green. And then end it off that way and attach it. Or I was going to do, no, because that'd be more work if I did it the other way. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. I just haven't come up with actual numbers as to how many stitches in from the edging I want the straps to start. But that's what I've been working on. Like, I just can't get over how quickly I've gotten it so far, and I like it. It's for a make along I'm doing over at Erin's over at Crafting Kitty. So, have you been busy with your crafting lately? I know we haven't done a hey, let's get together and all craft kind of video in a while. Oh yeah, you just got over being sick too, so don't blame me there for not wanting to craft, because I know I don't do a whole lot when I'm not feeling the greatest. Other than that, not much. I got to the point of my socks now. I can do my heels. Yeah, the back and having to sit for a length of time at your desk and stuff would be very uncomfortable. But yeah, my socks are at the point to do the heel. I do know I'm going to watch a video for the heel instructions that are on the pattern that I'm working it from. So those are on hold for now. I'm thinking I'm not going to like the pattern that it's calling for the heels, because I really do love the heel pattern I use for my pink ones that I did recently. So I'm thinking those are probably the heels I'm going to go with just because I like them. They fit on my feet nice. My socks are on hold now, trying to determine which way I want to do my heels. Right now, I'm working on this butt bag. Like I said, I just got to figure out how I want to do the handles or the straps, how you want to put it, and do them, and then make the back panel. And because the back, I'm going to do all, like I said, the solid green, because I was originally going to do the back in peach as well. Until I realized how much peach I used in the first half, like, and the back would be solid, and there's no way that's going to be enough. And I don't want to buy any more yarn if I don't have to. And then with my green, it's like I've got almost a full skein. Like you can really see the difference in how much of the two. Like, so I'm thinking the back panel in peach, or in the green, sorry. And then whatever I come up with the handles, hopefully I'll have enough in the green to do it. If not, I can always make the handles in peach as well. That's why, like I said, I haven't cut the peach off yet because I don't know what I'm doing. How's hubby doing? Is he doing good? Or are you ready to kick him out to the curb with the kids and get out, leave me alone? I'd say my hubby's actually been pretty good. I know tomorrow we gotta go pick up our income tax. And then I think he's taking me shopping for my birthday. Hi, Janice, hun. Welcome in. And if you want, there is a post at the top if you want to come up live with me. You're more than welcome. I'm just hanging out, chit-chatting. I just made Norma listen to a whole spiel on how I do a special menu recipe each month, and I'm not saying it again. And then I was showing off the panel I just made. It's going to be a dragon bag when I'm done. So this is the front panel with the dragon. It is done. Where the stitch marker here is where I was as of Wednesday, which was the halfway point. So that's the front of the dragon bag, and then this will be the inside part of the bag. It's going to be a good sized little bag, and I'm keeping it, I think, for myself. I really like how it's turning out. I was telling Norma that I think I'm going to do the back panel solid green. I was wanting it peach, but I don't think I'm going to have enough peach to do it, and I don't want to buy more yarn if I don't have to. So I'm going to do the back panel, the mint green, and then from there determine if my straps are going to be, because I could do the front panel mint green strap and do the back panel, which will be green, but do the stripe or path. The strap in peach, just one of each color. So that's all I'm working on right now. I've enjoyed it. Now, my color works not the best. Like if it's just a single, I find if I'm working on the front side of the panel and I've got to change colors just for one stitch, it looks fine. But if I'm working on the back side of the panel and I've got to change colors just for one stitch, it doesn't look the greatest. But like I said, it's just going to be a bag for me. Originally, I started doing this idea, and I was doing, the peach was a pink, and the mint green was like a lavender or lilac color. And then I didn't save the graph I was using. I was just had it open on my computer and kept switching back and forth. I don't know. I wasn't very far into that one, maybe 8 or 10 rows, something like that. And then I shut the computer down just to do a reboot and, updates and stuff like that. Not thinking, Tammy, you got a graft here you're using. So when I rebooted it, I lost the graft. And now this yarn I'm using for this one is the Loops and Thread Soft Classic, which I don't mind that yarn for making bags, and I don't mind that yarn for amigurumi, because even though it's a 4 worsted weight yarn, 100% acrylic, I find it's a little more plump than if you're using the Bernat. The Bernat, yeah, what the heck is it? The Super Value for Bernat, which is what the pink and the purple was that I was going to use. So that's a little more softer, and I find for a bag it doesn't really hold the shape as well. So I was kind of glad I had to rip that one out and restart, and I decided to use the Loops and Thread instead. But that, not doing much. I just come out and hang out for a bit, and yep, your guys' ears off. Whoever wants, come in and listen. So what have you been working on lately, Janet? Anything exciting going on in your world? Thanks for being. I think hubby's taking me out tomorrow to go shopping for my birthday. Not sure where we're gonna go. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, either to, well, I'm hoping Lens Mills. Or not Lens Mills, sorry, Mary Maxim. They've got, that's where I got to go for Christmas shopping. And all the yarn I showed you guys at Christmas time that I got, it was only like 40 something dollars my husband spent on it. It wasn't that expensive. Oh, wow. I love making granny squares. I just don't like sewing in all the ends. That's why whenever I go to usually do a granny like baby blanket or something, most times I just try to do is one big panel if I can. But yeah, sewing in ends is not my favorite job to do. I can honestly say though, with crocheting, I don't mind having to sew like, well, actually, give me one moment here. I'm gonna move you guys for a minute. I'm gonna grab an example. I've got a blanket right here actually. I made this blanket years ago. Oh, things are moving around here on me. Okay. I made this blanket. Oh, goodness. I'm thinking 3-4 years pre-pandemic. Now, I know with me for granny squares to join, I like the join as you go method. And I will try to show it to you the best I can. This is a blanket I made, like I said, years ago. And I used, I'm going to guess by the feel of it, Bernat yarn. I try to show it, and I try not to move it too fast so I don't make you guys dizzy. And like for the shell part, I did like a granny square around once and then just kind of made up shells as I went. But here's a blanket I made years ago. I'll have to maybe see if I can go find a photo of it to show you a better shot of it. But like it's a good size blanket. And like I did a bigger granny square around the edging. And it's 4 squares across by 4 down. So 16 squares. I love it. It's a very good size blanket for like I'd say early elementary school child because of the way I did the trim around it and all that. Really, really cute. I'm gonna go definitely try and find a picture to show you guys. So give me one moment here. I'm gonna be mucking on my Facebook for a quick moment. Facebook. So talk amongst yourselves, please. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Go me. Sorry if I'm a little close to the screen for you guys. I'm not trying to scare you guys or anything like that. Photos. But I've done a few different granny square blankets, and like I said, I know when I put the squares together because I don't like I said, I don't like to sew. If I can get away with not sewing, I do it. But the granny square blankets, really love the join as you go method. And then because I trimmed each square with white, so it helped the colors, in my opinion, pop really nicely. I know there is a photo of it here somewhere in my Facebook. There it is. Let's do this. Okay. Let's do. Okay, I'm gonna share. Oh, no, hold on. I gotta think now how to do this. Gotta pull this up first. We'll open my photos, I think. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can share this screen the way I want to. Present. Image file. Is that what I want? Yeah, there we go. So here's a photo of it for you. Like I said, I think it turned out really cute. Like I said, it's a really good sized blanket. The white really helped it pop. But yeah, that was the Granny Square, one of my favorite Granny Square blankets I've ever made. Okay. Remove. There we go. But yeah. I don't mind doing Granny Squares. Oh, wrong button. Don't do that. But I think for me, my favorite blanket style to do are ripples or chevrons. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, it's like me. I'm usually walking around my house in like a t-shirt and shorts in the winter months. Unless I've got to go somewhere, I'm not getting like dress. Just going back to see what you guys were chatting about. Oh, how do I share for on YouTube? There is a way to do it. I just gotta think now, top of my head, how you do it on YouTube Street side. If you want, we can always try and go. You can always try and go live, and I can try to assist you. I know it can be done because, like I said, I've done bingo on YouTube. I'm like, just going back a little bit and catching some of the chat that I missed. Yeah, that's true about going out and eating for that price. Yeah, not nowadays. Even if you go like to McDonald's or A&W and you use a coupon, you're still paying over $10 a meal. It's like crazy. Okay, I think I'm slowly getting caught up. And the only blanket right now that I'm working on is my Sophie's Universe. And she's on hold right now. Yeah, I don't blame you, Janice. Be comfortable. Hang out in the jammies. There you go. I'm all caught up. Yeah, that, like I said, not much really going on with me. I thought I've done bingo already twice this week. I didn't want to do another bingo. But yeah, Norma, if you want to, because it's you, tonight's Friday, so that's you tonight. Yeah. If you want to go live a little bit earlier on YouTube, we'll figure it out. I know it can be done because that's how I've done mine. The only thing is, though, I think your picture of you stays on the screen somewhere, or there's a way to set it up so that you have different layouts. And I, for some reason, did mine originally with me at the bottom of the screen, and now I can't figure out how to remove it. So you got to keep that in mind, that you may be in the bottom corner somewhere. Where I know on StreamYard with the bingo, we can fill the board or the screen up with just the bingo board. Which you can still fill it up, it's just you're in the bottom corner somewhere. But oh wow, I've been live for almost 45 minutes. I'm gonna cut it here, ladies. Norma, like I said, if you want to go live a little bit earlier and we'll muck with the YouTube, I can try and help you with that. We can figure it out because I know I've done it in the past. And like I said, running it off YouTube, I find I catch the bingos a lot quicker than if I use Stream. Like, yeah, I've been using StreamYard the last couple weeks or last couple sessions, but when I was using YouTube Streets, it seemed like I was catching the bingos like within one number. So we'll see if that helps any. Yeah, exactly. And that way, if it doesn't work, you can always switch it over. So I'll keep an eye out for you. And if I catch you on, I'll pop in right away and, maybe bring me up on the panel or whatever, and I can help you if need be. And if I can figure it out and remember what to do, even if I have to do a live on mine via YouTube, but not actually do bingo. So we're both kind of live at the same time. And then I can still be on your panel and tell you exactly what I'm doing on my side. So then you can mimic it on your side. So ladies, I'm going to call it because I didn't realize it's been already 45 minutes. And I want to go to the bathroom and do a couple things in the kitchen before bingo tonight. So I will definitely catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry, Norma, I was just yapping about probably stuff you didn't really care about. But hey, I just wanted to hang out. And I thank you guys for stopping in. And I will definitely catch you guys in a little bit. Bye for now.